Is it visible? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that Carol? Thanks, Carol.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining. I will be covering the basic elements of Asana. Otherwise, we would stay here for hours. Oh, sorry, Anna. We would stay here for hours. So the basics that I will be illustrating in this demonstration is mainly briefly understanding how Asana works, highlighting a few features, and then how to use the tool accompanied by the workflow feature. And then also, lastly, followed by the Q&A session. So just to follow up on my introduction from the main room, Asana for project management, how does it work? Well, individuals and teams can use Asana to break down large work into manageable tasks. It is a comprehensive work management tool that allows you to track project and task progress, share files, comments, and notes, and keep track of deadlines. It is a modern method of working together in collaboration. Asana, as already mentioned previously, is a task management software that has certain features like projects over here, workspaces. This is our workspace over here, and tasks, sections to manage projects and also tasks. And to further expand on some of these features, starting with projects, which is here. So just to reiterate, this is my home screen of Asana. So once you sign up and register for Asana, this would be a similar looking home screen to you. Of course, you can customize it as well, add your own widgets that you'd like, maybe a private notepad you would like to add. So a private notepad, for example, just add it, drag it, place it there. So you could add some notes or whatever you'd like to have as your home screen. But yeah, so over here, I'd see my tasks. I have a few upcoming. I have a lot completed because I'm very on top of things. And then these are projects that the entire team has access to. There's quite a few more. And then these are the team members. As you may know, Florence, Ayla, Ceslas, Wilson, Rachel. Afek is not here with us today, but yeah, so Afek is also part of our team. So just highlighting the projects under our workspace. So this is our workspace, Wiki in Africa. And under the Wiki in Africa workspace, we have multiple projects, as you can see. And projects is a space where you can see a series of projects. They are, sorry. So projects are basically your organization's main units, which can be both private and public. You can color code, for example, over here, we have the color coding and filter them, and you can tag certain projects. You can add people to certain projects, but of course, once a project has been added under your workspace, everyone within that workspace, the members within the workspace have access to that specific project. So I'll just demonstrate briefly how we can create a project. And we'll just start with a blank project. Project name, for example, I would say demo. Let's connect. And as you can see here, it will be public to all the members within the Wiki in Africa, all the Wiki in Africa members. And here is a default view. I personally enjoy the list view compared to the board, which looks like this, the timeline, which looks like this, and then the calendar view, which looks like this. I prefer the list view. It's just more visually appealing for me. So we can continue and we can start adding tasks. It's just loading. So yes, this brings me to my next feature. You may create tasks, fill them up with a variety of information to keep your workload balanced. And then, so for example, finish demo in 15 minutes, right? And you can assign it to someone within your workspace, and I'll assign it to myself. You can add a due date. There's other fields that you can add as well. So for example, you want to add a text. So let's say the text field will be for links, right? That's another option that you can do. So you can create the field. So add any links that you need. Maybe a link, in this case, for this task would be a link to a slideshow. So finish the demo in 15 minutes is an example of a task. And over here on top, as you can see, we have multiple ways we can view our tasks. So a board would look something like this. A timeline would look, sorry, it's just loading. So yes, a timeline would look something like this. If I had added a due date, which let me do, so 21st, you will see it on your timeline, due tomorrow. And then you have the calendar view. I personally love the calendar view, but only after I've added the tasks under the list view. That is when I would then look at things from a calendar perspective, because then I can see what tasks are upcoming, what I need to be doing. So yes, and what is overdue. Sometimes you'll find a lot of tasks that are not yet completed. But yes, so we have the calendar view, which allows you to view all your pending tasks. You can quickly switch between the list view and calendar view on Asana, and to see which tasks are due and when. And now finally, we get to my favorite part of Asana, which is the workflow system that we have, or that, sorry, the workflow feature that Asana offers. So basically, a workflow is an end-to-end process that helps teams meet their goals by connecting the right people to the right data at the right time. Workflows move data, which in this case would be tasks, through a series of steps from initiation to completion. Once it's set up, a workflow helps you organize information in a way that is not only understandable, but also repeatable. Sorry. So yes, in this case, I'll just quickly demonstrate how we would create a workflow template. I would show you an existing one, which is the Wiki Africa Hour one, but I'll just show you how we actually create one. So step one is, of course, you would sign into your Asana account, which we have already done. So we've signed in successfully. And then step two, to create a new workflow template, you would go to your workspace and then scroll down to the bottom until you get to templates. And then you would say new template. And we would then create a template by entering a title. Same example as earlier, demo, let's connect 2023, right? And anyone in the team can edit. You can make it private if you'd like. Maybe it's a workflow system for yourself. If, for example, you find yourself repeating certain projects personally or whatever it is, you can create a template, a workflow for yourself. And then obviously anyone in the team can use without editing. But I want my team to collaborate with me, so they will edit with me. So we create the template. And then step three is to choose the default view for your new workflow template. So as I said, I genuinely prefer the list view compared to the other three because it's just more visually appealing, especially when I'm still adding tasks. So that's my view. My default view is the list. And then, sorry, I don't want to skip anything. So I've written everything down. And then we can click save or continue. And finally, we can skip this part. It's just an overview. We get to the settings, and over here, you can type a description. So a good description would be, for example, let's connect 2023, learning together, 2023. And anyone in the team can edit. And then you can also obviously invite people that is outside of your workspace. So for example, if I wanted to invite Jessica, who is not part of Wiki in Africa, but would love for her to have access to this workflow system, I would add her onto here and she'll have access solely to this system, the workflow, and not necessarily everything else that the Wiki in Africa team has. And then you can create the template by selecting done. And then at the bottom here, it will show as a template, right? So we can click on it and then we can use template. And then let's say, for example, why this is so helpful in the case of Wiki Africa Hour. Wiki Africa Hour is a project that runs basically every month. So the last Friday of each month, we have an episode running. So obviously, we then have tasks due every single month that are closely similar. So Ceslas, let me show you actually. I will rather show you. So this is our upcoming episode. And this started off as a workflow template. As you can see here, here's it. This is the template. All of this has been added as a template, right? There's no due dates because obviously, because we have an episode every single month, the due dates will only be applicable to that specific month. So yes, just going back to this already existing template, workflow. Once it's been created, you can then, once again, apply it specifically to the relevant episode. We are currently on episode 24, which is this Friday, next week, Friday, the 28th. So please be there. But yeah, so this started off as a template and is now being used for every single episode. And as you can see, there are multiple tasks that Ceslas has to complete, as well as Rachel, as well as myself. So this then avoids the mess of having to every single month manually create a task list. We just go to the template, we create the template for that specific episode. We obviously change, maybe there's a minor change for each episode. If we have to add an additional task to each stage, so be it. But yes, so we could add due dates, links, as I said. On top, we've added our links. Again, you can add an extra field if you'd like to. Yeah. So that is basically the workflow template and how that works. And something that I forgot to mention, let's just go back to the demo one that I created. So this is the actual template. Sorry. Let's edit. Something I forgot to mention. So let's say, for example, finish demo in 15 minutes. And we've added a section, let's say stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And stage 1 would be something like a pre. Stage 2 would be something like during. Stage 3 would be something like post. So yes, let's say we can move this in, we can move the tasks within sections. So let's during, and then you could also add triggers by customizing. So you can add rules. My favorite rule is this one. So when a due date is approaching, when a due date is approaching the task deadline, you can move it to a specific section. So let's say we have another section that says overdue. You will then have a trigger rules. You can add it. So when the due date is approaching, so when it's due today, you can move it to overdue. So it will automatically move any sort of late so any sort of late tasks to the overdue section, notifying the person that the task is assigned to make sure that they complete the task or review the due date or whatever the case is. And yes, that is how the workflow template feature works. Individuals can use workflows to push their own projects, as I said earlier, but workflows are most impactful at the team and department level because they follow a sequence of steps, which I couldn't fully expand on now, but I gave a brief idea. Workflows naturally reduce inefficiencies by providing clarity to your team and when it comes to hitting your team's goals. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, please do ask.
Thank you for the presentation. Do you have a training feature within the app, within the software?
Yes, there is one. I can actually show you. Let me just go to it first before I share my screen again. Okay. So within Asana, and thank you for that question. But yes, within Asana, you'll see at the bottom here, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can see. We can
Yes,
see.
we
Yes.
can.
Thank you. So yes, at the bottom here, it says help and getting started. So over here, they actually offer video tutorials. They offer contact support, how to integrate any sort of like apps. For example, if you want to integrate Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google Sheet, or even Slack. So we actually, I can't go to my Slack now, but we use our Slack to sort of comment on certain tasks and then it automates onto Asana. So Asana does offer a great deal of resources to be able to go through in order to get used to the platform.
Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, great. I'm very happy you asked it because I'm not the best at explaining, but yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
All right.
I see Carol also had a question. Carol, if you want to voice it yourself, or I can read it out.
Hi, I think somebody helped me. I was asking about the pricing, which he's sent a link. Thank you. Then I wanted to ask, like, on Meta, can you link, or do you have again to go on Meta to write your projects and all that and update, or do you just link it? Thank you.
Sorry, Carol, just to clarify, are you asking, can you please repeat that actually about Meta?
I'm asking, now like you have this Asana and you have done all your projects here, then you need to update projects on Meta on what you're doing. Do you link it to Meta, or do you then again go to Meta and start updating, she said, whatever, or the climate? Yeah.
Yeah, no. So we would have to manually go and update anything related to Meta on Meta. Meta and Asana, there's no integration for the two platforms. So whatever happens in Asana, when it comes to Meta, stays in Asana. But I'll definitely say that our tasks and our to-do lists definitely start in Asana. So when it, for example, here I have if I can find it, let me just go to my tasks. Over here, I have a task, add news to Meta, and this is related to Wiki Africa Hour. So the news that Setlas and I read out during each episode, it's a reminder for me to go onto Meta and add those news, but it doesn't necessarily add, I can't add the news here for it to automatically add onto Meta. I hope that answers the question.
I got it. Thank you.
And I think there's also another question from, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Abibat Traore. Do you want to say your question in French, or I can read it? Okay. So one question, is it possible to create a private project and then make it public?
Yes, definitely. Sorry, did I mute myself? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, because I now switched off my camera. It's getting a bit dark and I have load shedding now. So, but yes, no, you can definitely create a project and have it private and then afterwards make it public. So, for example, we could say, what kind of private thing would I like to do first? Planned birthday. Okay, planned birthday party. So it will automatically give you the option of it being public, but if I want it to be private, it will only be to me, and then I can add everyone else that will have access to the project. So you can definitely create a private, as you can see, it has a lock. It has a lock next to it, so it's private. Only I have access to it, and then I can definitely change it to have it public again, as you can see here. So I can add my members, let's say Florence and Isla.
I don't see the dashboard moving, so you might have to refresh maybe. Don't know if it's on.
Sorry.
And just to note that I'm closing the room, there's only 1 more minute left, so we might get people come in, but you finish your explanation, Noni.
Okay. No, I think should I refresh real quick?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you see now?
Yes.
Can you see my screen now? Okay. So, okay, let me try again. So just quickly create a planned birthday party. So for now it's public, but you can make it private to project members, which will only be I at the moment. Continue. And as you can see there, that's the one I previously created, but they both have locks in because it's private. Only I have access to it. Only I can view it. So yes, you can definitely have it private at first and then change it to public.
Thanks for a wonderful presentation. That was fantastic. I learned a lot and I use Asana.
Thanks, Jessica. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Are there any more questions?
No, I think we're going to.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead whilst we.
Yes, I have
a
good day to you all. I was just wondering, from the main page of the Asana, I can see icons for emails spreadsheet and the rest. So I was wondering, can you edit, can you send email or like edit spreadsheet or drive, view information on your drive and the rest through this Asana and or edit them? That's
You
my
mean
question.
you mean emails straight
Yeah,
from your
I
email
can
box?
see icons for emails on the top menu, email, spreadsheet, and the rest, and drive.
Oh no,
So
these
can
are
you
just
access them?
my
Yeah, yeah. Can you?
no, sorry. These are just my pinned tabs. So these are all my private pinned tabs. I just put Asana pin there because I use it often. So this is my drive, my personal drive, and my Notion and my few other spreadsheets, but it's not related to Asana.
Okay, I
Just
understand.
pinned, yeah, just pinned on top.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay, thank you. So there